Let me talk briefly about some of the recreational activities that we're going to open up here in Palm Beach County. The county administrator, along with myself and in conjunction with the county mayors and administrators of Broward County and Miami-Dade County, have worked in conjunction to ensure that this region of the state opens up recreation responsibly and in tandem with our neighboring communities, so that there is consistency within the law when we look at it from a region perspective. So there's 4 general areas of recreation that will be opening up on Wednesday. And this is going to be contained in an order that will be published shortly, order number 2020-005. This order will be posted shortly on www.pbcgov.org, www.pbcgov.org. The reason why it's important for you as the consumer or as a resident to look at this order if you intend to partake in these activities is because there are strict requirements for this to go forward. And there will be strict enforcement, and we'll hear about that shortly. I would also like to, before I announce the 4 areas that we're going to open, I'd like to tell the community and remind them that this wasn't something that we came up with on our own here at the EOC. We worked, Ms. Baker worked very diligently over the past several weeks with our other counties to get a structure in place. And then she formed some working groups of community activists and volunteers for these industries to have the proper guidelines and restrictions in place. So this comes from the community and the leaders within the golf community, for example, or the boating community. These were not taken or made in a vacuum. So again, if you refer to Order 2020-05, Section 5, the first activity and arena that we would like to open up on Wednesday is boating and marine activities. And I want to give you just a little bit of context about what the regulations and restrictions will look like. I'm not going to read them all. But for example, boating and recreational activities that do not comply with CDC guidelines and any activities that do not allow for proper social distancing. Very broad term, right? But we're going to expect CDC compliance. What that means is that, for example, flotillas, which include but are not limited to 2 or more boats traveling together or anchored within 50 feet. So let's break that down to its most basic level. If you're going to go out on your boat, you're not going to be permitted by law to hook up to another boat. You're not going to get to go to Peanut Island and have that big boat party that people like to do. That's not safe, and it's against the law, and enforcement will occur. Another example, all fish cleaning bait stations shall be limited to 1 person per station at a time. Again, embracing CDC social distancing. Jet ski rental operations shall be limited to single riders only. You can see a consistency here of adopting social distancing even though we're doing recreational activities. The second area of recreation that we intend to open, which is attachment 3 in the order, is golf. Now, how can we golf effectively? Well, we've reached out to very, very prominent golfers and enthusiasts, many people in the community that have assisted in saying or helping us understand how we can socially distance safely while we're golfing. For example, restaurants may remain open at the golf course, but for takeout service only. Locker rooms shall not be available except for restroom use. Players shall not arrive more than 20 minutes prior to tee times. Play shall be set up for walking, single rider golf cart, or shared cart for families living in the same household. Course staff shall confirm household verification by ID. So yes, you're starting to see that these are some pretty strict requirements, but they're there again for the public safety and welfare. The third area that we intend to open are public parks and natural spaces. For example, restrictions will include police, park rangers, and designated staff shall patrol parks and monitor and ensure compliance with physical distancing guidelines. Park hours will be limited to sunrise to sunset unless further modified by appropriate authorities. Natural areas, trails, jogging, one-way, unidirectional, are only open for walking, running, strolling, biking, and equestrian riding where otherwise allowed. Picnic pavilions shall remain closed. Use of water fountains is prohibited. Basketball court shall be for individual practice only. Again, there are more restrictions contained with the order, And these industries themselves will be partly responsible for enforcing these measures upon the public, but the public has a duty to understand and abide by them as well. The last segment of recreation that we intend to open on Wednesday consists of tennis courts and community pools. Some, again, short, reduced list, not the full list of restrictions, but single play is only permitted in tennis. No congregating on the court or sidelines. Locker rooms and shower facilities shall remain closed. Restrooms must be cleaned and disinfected regularly throughout the day. It is the responsibility of staff or management to ensure compliance with this order. Community pools. Pool capacity shall be limited to ensure social distancing in accordance with CDC guidelines. Pool deck seating or lounging shall be restricted to ensure social distancing in accordance with CDC guidelines. So you can really abide by or participate in all of these recreational activities if you just use common sense. Now, some of the rules are a bit specific, and again, that comes from industry that work in these recreational silos. But the images that we see on TV of people congregating, whether it's on a beach or in a park, those are the types of activities, negligent and unlawful activities, that will cause us to regress as a county, both in recreational opportunities and in stopping the spread of this pandemic. So I plead with the community to keep up the great work, and as we go into this recreational opportunity, that you amp up the CDC social distancing guidelines and compliance with these rules even further. And in doing that, we can return to some level of normalcy in our recreational and physical fitness lives.